charge stay on, so normally take it over. Like this we would
Words matter. What we say, we can't take back. They make an impact. Words are like the feathers in a pillow. If you take the pillow on a windy day, you go outside and you open up the pillow, throw the feathers to the wind, they fly and they go places where you might not even be able to collect thereafter. Our words make an impact. And if they're the words that we didn't really want to choose, they were not healthy, good words, positive, good words, the impact will be a negative impact that we cannot retrieve. Welcome to Tanya Today. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zich and Kadeshim in Montreal, Canada, where it's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. We are in Igeris HaKodesh, in the Alter Rebbe's teachings, the fourth section, that is the holy letters of the Alter Rebbe. And in this letter, we are now in the midst of understanding God as creator of heaven and earth. How does he create? Well, generally speak about the Tetragrammaton, God's full name, right? That is the source of all of creation. But specifically now, we're speaking about the Yud and the Hey in God's name, which is a name in and of itself. Yud K. We don't pronounce it. Yud, we learned yesterday, is responsible for creating the spiritual realm, including Gan Eden, the Garden of Eden, where our souls go after we leave this world. And we spoke about how it is through the letter Yud, Chachma, divine wisdom, that fills the home of Gan Eden, fills with a light that is beyond something that you can grasp, but it's brought into and absorbed into the souls that are there, that they are experiencing great pleasure in the divine, enormous great pleasure in the divine. So much so that an hour of pleasure there is more than all the pleasure you'll have in this world. A moment's pleasure, even. So the spiritual realm created with the letter Yud, and today we go into the physical world. It is created with this letter Hey. Now, of course, everything that God creates, besides, by the way, the divine soul, that God wasn't created through the word of God, but a piece of God. But everything else is created through the word of God. So even the spiritual realm, the word of God, as speech, we explained yesterday, is not a intellectual expression of one's intelligence. It's developmental. And it comes from what we call kadmus seichel, from the source of intelligence, which is chokhmah, that brings out the intelligence, or not brings out the power of speech, as we went and explained at great length yesterday. Today we speak about this world, and it's created with the letter Hey, the former letter Hey, which we'll get to, which is also about speech. But it's the breath Yesterday we spoke about the form of speech. Today we speak about the matter of speech. Words matter. Our speech matters. But here we mean literally in the concept of the matter of speech, which is the breath of speech, as opposed to the pronunciation of the 22 letters, right, that take different form. So when you want to say kometz aleph o, patach aleph a, right, you desire to say a letter in a specific way, your lips form that is necessary. That's the form of the letters. But to vocalize, and that you should hear me right now, because if I say without breath, then it's not vocalized. So we have two elements in speech: the form of speech, but without the breath of speech, you don't have any verbalization. It won't be vocalized. You won't hear it. So the hey is that part of speech. That is the matter of speech, the breath of speech. How so? Well, what does that sound like? Which letter? Hey, that's the letter hey, right? That we're speaking about. And what is that creating? Physical breath, not just form, which is spiritual form, but the physical breath, which creates a physical world. And that breath, right, which is the letter hey, which is a light letter because it has no substance to it, or lacks substance. In other words, substance, it's a substance of breath, but not like, when you say pay, lamed, right? Hey is got really only the breath to it, as opposed to, primarily. So it's the body of speech. And then that breath then goes into also five forms of how that breath will be formed into. Mouth, the letter pay, right? So you have the breath and you have the five forms of speech. Then you have teeth, shin, which is primarily with your teeth, you say the letter shin. Lamed is more of a tongue. Gimel is more palate, and ches is more guttural. Therefore, that's why our sages say that this world was created with the letter hey, because it's the external aspect of speech, it's the matter of speech, it's the body of speech, which then creates the matter, the physical matter of this world, or the energy that creates that. Now, you might ask a question. That hey that we're speaking about, which is the matter of speech, is really the final hey in God's name, because that's Malchus, which is the king, who the king rules his nation by his word. But we're saying it's the former, because it's with Yud and a hey that God creates everything. And now we're talking about the hey, the former hey. So there's obviously something that there's a parallel between the hays, but they're different hays. What's the parallel? Is that you have a breadth, a length, and a depth. So in the former hey, it's about bina. Bina means understanding. Bina means taking from the ingenuity, the spark of an idea that's beyond comprehension, and then bringing it into the breadth, length, and depth. You're fully elongating it, right? You're developing it. So that's the same thing in speech. What is speech? Is taking a thought, taking a feeling, and now expressing it fully. Now, how did this that so there's a relationship there. Further, there's a relationship because the former hey is bina. Bina is understanding. Understanding, what does that where does understanding finally come to? When you understand something, where does it develop? Anybody?
The mind.
Well, it's in the mind, but where does it from there, where does it go?
The mind to the mouth. Yeah.
No, before the mouth into the heart, which the heart then brings the breath. In other words, what you understand culminates in the heart, right? Your ingenuity doesn't culminate in the heart. Chokhmah doesn't culminate in the heart, but Bina, understanding, does. Because the more you have the breadth, the length, and the depth of an understanding of something, like the understanding of how great Tanya is, the more you're going to have a feeling in it, in your heart for it, right? It develops it, it culminates there. So, meaning, in our metaphor over here, that the former hay culminates in the final hay, which from the heart issues the breath, which then is the body of speech. So that's the connection between the two. And again, how does the king of flesh and blood rule over with his faculty of speech? By issuing commands. So God also issues his command, right? Extending his reign and dimension over the universe and creating it with the final hay, but it starts over here and expresses itself over here, culminates over there. So that's what it means that God creates this physical world with the letter Hey. I hope you got that Kabbalistic idea. Any questions, any comments? Okay, let's say hello to Michael, Germany, Carmen in Texas, Cindy in Florida, Koy in Lima, Peru. Junin is in Australia. Alea in Florida, Stan in London, England. Rabab is in Tangiers, Morocco. Patricia is in Ohio. Clem in Brisbane, Australia. Tim in Texas. Mordechai in Massachusetts. Susanna in Miami. And in Arizona, but now by your sister in somewhere out east. Remind me. Liba Davida in New York. Jeff is in Michigan. Irma in St. Martin. Laurie in North Carolina. Dana in Washington, David in Sacramento, California, Annie in Costa Rica, Art in Michigan, Marina in Colorado, Vincent is in Alberta, Jan in Mexico, Robert in Auckland, New Zealand. All right. Jane from Minnesota. Yasmin is in West Turkey. Joe in Washington State. Oh, Connecticut, Diana. Okay, thank you. Sorry. Karen is in Springfield, Ohio. M is with us. All right, beautiful. Rachel, South Carolina. 613. Natalie, Alice, and others. All right. I hope that was clear. A bit Kabbalistic, but that's good. All right, folks. Rambam is coming up. Thank you all for joining. God bless you all. How's the sound on this? How is the visuals? New camera, new microphone. I hope it's supposedly it's much better. Thank you for joining. Have an amazing, great day.